It's about Europa League success this season, isn't it, for Manchester United, with top four all but secured. Next season, they all want it to be about Champions League success. We've spoken a fair bit, actually, but only in little snippets, sort of a minute here and a minute there about what they need to do this summer ahead of next season. Is your thinking still a striker, a real world-class striker, a top striker, takes this side to a team to challenge for titles and trophies, not just Europa League level, but Champions League, Premier League level?
Yeah, I think so. I think you said their Champions League success, something to look for. It's more the Premier League they're looking for at this moment in time. They haven't really challenged for it for a few years now. OK, they're second this year, but they still look a little way off Man City. What they have to do for next season, I think a centre-forward is a priority. I think they've got very good forwards, but is one of them a centre-forward? If you take Cavani out of it, is one of them a real centre-forward? Is Mason Greenwood, is Marcus Rashford, is Martial a real centre-forward? They look better to me in wide areas. Cavani, we know, great experience. But again, I think United have had 50 games. He's only started 15 games. Now, that's not a lot to rely on a centre-forward. He's a brilliant centre-forward. Goal-scoring record is amazing. Can they keep them in for another year, maybe delay it for another year? But eventually, they're going to have to try and sign a top-class centre-forward. And look, there's a couple out there that may be available. I don't know what the situation is. It's going to cost a lot of money, we know that.
Would you keep this guy as a squad player?
Jake, look, you got to keep him. He's fabulous. I think first of all, he's a great goal scorer, and his minutes per goal showed that. He's the best player at United for that. Scholes makes a good point. He probably hasn't had the games that he would have liked, for different reasons. But in the box, he's one of the best. He's proven that. And I think just as a mentor for Marcus Rashford and Mason Greenwood, Martial, I think he's perfect. I would 100% keep him and invest the money in other positions to help bridge that gap. I think he and Marcus...
Other positions, as in you wouldn't invest in the striker position?
No, I think obviously everybody would love to have Harry Kane and Haaland, but I just think with Cavani there, you don't have to go spend £100 million on a player, because if you spend it there, then there's other positions that need it. They need a right winger, they need a central midfield player, they need another centre back. I think with Cavani there, he's almost an insurance policy, and you could maybe go spend that money on, on three other players in important positions, which I think Cavani, could, if he played next season, the whole season, I think he could easily get you 25 goals with the other boys.
I'd go along with that if he plays, but that's a big if now. At his age, this season, as I said before, he started 15 games. It's not a lot, is it? I do expect if he was to stay here, and I think that's probably what he's waiting for, to see if United sign a centre-forward, because he doesn't look the type of player who'd be happy sat on the bench, being a mentor for young players. He wants to be involved. He wants to play games. So look, it's an interesting decision for him, and I'm thinking he's just waiting. Do United sign a centre forward? If they do, I'm going away. I want to play every week. Now, he's not done that this year because of injuries, and that has to be a slight concern for me at his age. Next year, again, coming back a year older, can he sort these type of injuries he's getting?
It's an interesting point you make about the striker situation. It was only a week ago that we spoke, didn't we, in the studio about signing Erling Haaland, and you said, look, they've got the money if they want to go and do it. If you don't go and do the 100, 120, 150 million on a striker, and you're going to spend a lot less, are you stunting the growth of someone like Greenwood for a striker who doesn't change the dial in this football team?
Yeah, but Jake, they're the second highest scorers in the Premier League already. So is it really their biggest issue? Obviously everybody could do with Harry Kane and Erling Haaland without question, but some of their best players are Mason Greenwood and Marcus Rashford and Martial and Bruno Fernandes, Pogba. Those boys will get you enough goals. I don't think it's realistic for United to win the Premier League next season. But they have to find, as Scholes said, they have to find a way to bridge the gap. You bridge that gap by getting another centre back, getting another central midfield player, and getting a right winger. A lot of people have played out on that right-hand side, and they haven't really found it. I think to go and find a right winger, Jadon Sancho would be amazing. You think about Raphinha at Leeds, what he could do in this United team. There's obviously levels of... You can't always spend £100 million on every player. Do you know what I mean? So
I think that could stop. Sorry, I think that could stop likes of Mason Greenwood, though, signing a Sancho. Now, look, I know exactly what you're saying of Sancho, but Mason Greenwood has been the best player on that right-hand side. Yeah. Marcus doesn't like playing there. Martial doesn't like playing there. They both like coming from the other side, cutting inside to the right foot, and Mason's been the best player out there. Now, I get what you're saying is about Sancho. What I see in Sancho is he'd be more creative. I think he'd have a better link with a centre-forward. A centre-forward would like to play with him a bit more than a Mason Greenwood or a Marcus Rashford, because they're more head-down dribblers, want to score goals, whereas this lad, he can do both. Owen, and I know you're a big fan of his from watching German football, and he's a sensational player. I just wonder if he's still a little bit similar to what United have in those kind of areas.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I think a lot of people think they're really similar, but I just think Jadon will get you 20 assists, 20 plus.
Yeah.
Whereas I think the boys, Mason, I think he's got 5 this year.
Yeah.
You know, Marcus has obviously got a lot more. Marshall's got a few. Jadon to get you 20, and then the other boys are going to get 5 or 8 more goals a season. So I think there's a lot of areas. I think there's probably 4 positions United need to address. You can address all of them, is my point. Cavani's on a free. Cavani stays. Then you can go invest the money on positions that they probably do need addressing.
Finally, Jesse Lingard, right? Where does his future lie?
I hope it lies here. Look, he's a United fan as a kid. He's a Manchester boy. He'll be desperate to come back here and do well, I think. And what he's done at West Ham, his numbers are brilliant. And do you know what? His position is probably where Fernandes plays, so that hasn't helped him while he was there. Obviously, you couldn't leave Fernandes out of the team because of what he's doing. But the last 6 weeks, I think Jesse would have a chance. I think Fernandes looked a little bit tired.
It doesn't work for everyone, though, the West Ham move. He's a big fish in a slightly smaller pond. It works for West Ham. Maybe that's what he needs.
Most importantly, it's worked for Jesse. He's got his name back in there. He's back in the England squad. Great chance of going to the Euros. And we know the quality he has. It also has bumped his price up a little bit if United do decide to sell him.